I have finally added some more Super Nintendo games to my collection, and it only took traveling all the way across the country to South Carolina for a convention called the Southeast Game Exchange. I only have about half of what I picked up at that convention to show you guys in this pickup video, because the other half, I had my buddy Seth ship it back to me and it has not arrived yet. I was considering waiting for that package to get here before I filmed this video so I could have all of that Super Nintendo stuff together, but some of my pickup videos don't have a single Super Nintendo game, so I thought, you know what, I'll wait for that package to get here and film a second video whenever I film my next pickup video, and it'll also have some Super Nintendo stuff. So, welcome back. Grab a drink, grab a snack. This is probably going to be a long one. I do have quite a bit of stuff to show you, and I maybe have a little bit more variety this time than I have had in the past couple pickup videos. So, we're going to start off. I have one DVD, and that is The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 Koopa's Rock. On this channel, we all know Koopa's Rock, especially SicCooper's. So, one DVD. I think that came in a trade at the store, or I possibly found it at Goodwill. I can't remember. But I was at the store with it, and I was like, and Abby was here at home on her day off, and I was like, hey, can you see if we have this one? And she said, we do not, so had to keep it. The only other thing I have to show you that's not an actual game is one handheld console, and this is, what is this color? This is a sea green white, and it's like a white and sea green 2DS, but it is a Mario Kart 7 bundle. Pretty cool. We have tons of 2DSs and 3DSs in the collection, but all the different color versions, all the different game bundles, stuff like that. I just love collecting variants for console boxes and stuff like that. I think they look really cool on the shelf once you have them all lined up. So, always got to add new ones when I can. So yeah, that's it this time for like the non-gaming stuff. Usually I have some other consoles or accessories, or maybe like a plush or a toy or something to show you guys, but that's it for that stuff. So now we're jumping into the games. And today we're going to be looking at Nintendo Switch. I have a lot of PS1. I have a good stack of NES and Super Nintendo. We've got some PS2, GameCube, original DS, 3DS, original Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. There is quite a bit today. So I'm going to start with the original DS because we only have one game, and that is Cookie and Cream. I have never played either of the Cookie and Cream games. If there's more than two, I don't know about them, but there is one on the PlayStation 2. Looks like a fun little kind of platformer. Maybe puzzle-style game. And then we have two 3DS games. First one is Rayman 3D. Just a random one that we did not have in the collection yet, and I've kind of unofficially been treating 3DS as like the second console I'm focusing on. Obviously, it's been Super Nintendo, but 3DS, there's a lot of cheap games that I don't have, so I'm able to pick up quite a bit if I'm actually looking for it. At the convention, I was really only looking for Super Nintendo, so there was a lot of 3DS games to purchase there. I just didn't happen to grab any. And the other 3DS game, this was traded in at the store, and this is a PAL exclusive. Don't normally collect a lot of import stuff, even if they are like a PAL or Japanese exclusive, but this game's only like $4, and I was like, yeah, I'll just hold on to it. That's Horrid Henry, The Good, the Bad, and the Bugly. Kind of interesting. The 3DS is a region-locked console without any sort of mods, so I can't play that game without a PAL 3DS. Not that I would care to play it anyway, but, you know, just a fun little tidbit. Alright, so to stick with the handheld theme, I'm going to move on to the Game Boy stuff. Now, there is one complete-in-box Game Boy game that I did pick up at the convention. Like I said, I was mostly just focusing on Super Nintendo, but I had brought a couple factory-sealed graded games from the store to trade, and I was able to trade both of them. One of them straight across for a complete-in-box Super Nintendo game that I needed. The other one I traded straight across for a complete-in-box NES game and a complete-in-box original Game Boy game. That's the one I have here to show you, but I'm going to show you guys a bunch of cartridge-only games first. So, over the last 2 days at my store, today is Saturday that I'm filming this, and my weekend is Saturday, Sunday. So Thursday, Friday at the store, I was going through my spreadsheet for my collection where I have everything documented, and I was like, man, I need a bunch of cartridges for different consoles. And so I was going through and putting them on my wish list. So if one comes in, it prints a tag with my name on it so that, you know, whoever's doing the trade knows, oh, Cooper wants this one. And then if it's in good condition, I'll add it to the collection. But as I was doing that, I was coming across a bunch of games we already had in stock. So I was able to get these for my collection to complete boxes I already have. So in no particular order, starting with original Game Boy first, we have Home Alone, and these are all in very nice shape as well. Tennis, Tiny Toon Adventures, Bab's Big Break, Golf, and Pac-Man. So now my boxes have the cartridges in them. There's a chance I may still be missing a manual here or there, but the goal is to eventually have everything complete, right? For Game Boy Color, I got 2 games, and they're pretty related. We have Pac-Man Special Color Edition and Miss Pac-Man Special Color Edition. Pretty awesome. And then for Game Boy Advance, also in no particular order, we have Barbie Groovy Games. There's some bangers in here. Salt Lake 2002. Wow. Home on the Range. Jurassic Park 3 Park Builder. There's definitely no filler titles on Game Boy Advance, so this is pretty cool. Ice Age. Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. Monster Trucks. And probably the best one of all, because it's not even a game. This is the Game Boy Advance video, Dora the Explorer, Volume 1. I can't wait to watch this on my next plane flight to whatever next convention I go to. That'll be sweet. And then the complete in box Game Boy game that I got from the convention is Gearworks. And although this might not be the most expensive original Game Boy game to find in box, it seems to be pretty hard to find. If you look at price charting, they track sold eBay listings, and there's only like a couple of these that have sold complete in box over the past few years. So very, very tough to find. It's also in really, really good condition. So shout out to Matt from Forever Games. I think his store is in Ohio. Super awesome guy. He's the one that I traded with to get that. So moving on, let's go to Nintendo Switch. I have a bunch of games here as always. I'm going to go through the big box stuff first, and then we'll look at the standard release games. We have Tsukahime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon, I think is how you pronounce it. We got this at our store, and we accidentally purchased it from 2 different distributors, which we try not to do. And you know, if it's like a Mario game, we'll buy from everyone to make sure we get them on time. But if it's a small release like this, where I don't think many people at all are going to pick it up, we try to only get a couple copies. But I accidentally ordered a few copies from 2 different distributors, so we ended up with way more than expected, and we actually sold every single one. I don't know if there's like hype around this game or if it has a really big cult following or something like that. What I do know though is that this game was only released in this big box. They did not do a standard case version. So maybe one to look out for. From what I know, it might be like a remake of an older like game. I'm not sure. Somebody was saying something about it. I just can't remember exactly what, but that might be one to look out for because I was surprised we sold all the copies that we did. Next up is Beyond a Steel Sky Utopia Edition. Got this giant box here with stickers, cards, dog tags, soundtrack, steelbook, a hologram lamp. That's pretty cool. The game, which this is definitely for Nintendo Switch, but on the back it shows a PS4 copy of the game. That is kind of funny. And then the box, an enamel pin, stickers, and a mini art book. Oh, there's 2 different things of stickers. There's like a sticker sheet, then there's 2 XXL premium stickers. Ooh, very cool though. We also have Art of Rally Collector's Edition. And also The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails. This is the collector's edition from NAS America. It's got a lenticular cover there, kind of cool. We also have the Among Us Imposter Edition. Still a game that I have never played, but everyone at the store has been wanting to play. We've just been playing a lot of Lethal Company, but Among Us is one that we're definitely going to be checking out. We also have Monster Jam Steel Titans. This is, I don't know what they call this edition, but it comes with a die-cast car, which is pretty cool. And then the last big box one that we have is Cabela's The Hunt Championship Edition. So comes with a like rifle attachment to hold the Joy-Cons and stuff. So pretty cool. Moving on to the standard case released games, we have Chants of Sinar. Heard some good things about this. We just got this, it just came out, but we actually opened it because Abby was interested in playing this one. And I know if we leave it sealed and the price, you know, the used price goes down, we're not going to want to open it. So I just opened it right away. But it does look pretty cool. She is into these type of games, so I'm sure she will enjoy that. We also have Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. This one was also factory sealed, and I opened it, but not because I was dying to play it, more because the seal had a bunch of rips on it, and it goes for almost the same exact price opened and sealed. So I don't really care about having games sealed in the collection, but if I'm not dying to play it, I will leave it sealed and then probably swap it out for a complete one down the road, because that's usually a benefit for the store. We get the complete copy, which maybe would sell quicker, but the store gets the more expensive version, which is the sealed copy. So that's why we did that. We have Peppa Pig World Adventures. We now have both Peppa Pig games on the Switch. Switch collection's basically done now because that's all we ever needed. But I do have some more here, so we'll keep going. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, a New Power Awakens set. We also have Gal Guardians Demon Purge. We have G Darius HD. We already had this game, but our copy was factory sealed, so I'm going to be swapping it out for this one. So we get the open one, the sealed one goes to the store. We also have Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak Deluxe Edition. This one also just came out. We have The Grinch Christmas Adventures. There was a Grinch game that I used to play on our PC when I was younger. We only had a demo for it, but I played it a bunch, and I wonder if it is at all similar to that. We have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. In the last pickup video, if you guys missed it, I showed you the pre-order bonus that my store did for this game, and I already have that on the shelf over there. I can see it from here because it has a green spine. It's the only green one on the whole wall, but very, very cool. We actually had 90 pre-orders for that game, which is insane for a local mom and pop store. If we didn't have that pre-order bonus, I think we maybe would have gotten between 5 and 10 pre-orders. So very, very happy that everyone was so excited to support that. And now we're doing something even bigger and better for the next Zelda game. So if you're into collecting and you want a very special small mom and pop store exclusive pre-order bonus that we are designing and creating, make sure you go to doublejumpvideogames.com and pre-order the new Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, because it's going to be incredible. I can't wait to reveal that. Make sure you're subscribed to the Double Jump Video Games channel on YouTube as well if you want to see all the information about that. It'll be coming up. If it's not already up by the time this video goes live, it's coming soon. And actually, I think this pickup video is not going to be uploaded for a while, so it's probably already been announced. Hopefully this pickup video goes up before the game comes out, but either way. Next, we have Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission. I had this game already, but this is the Hero Edition, which has that little banner across the top. My copy did not have that, so it's a variant, and I need it. Next, Harry Potter Lego Collection. Legendary Fishing. This is one that we had sealed, and I have already swapped it out. We have Radiant Tail Fanfare. We have Dave the Diver Anniversary Edition. I have heard very, very good things about this game. Somebody compared it to Moonlighter for me, and I love that game. So this is one that I will probably check out. It's not opened yet, but I'm probably going to play that one. We have Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. The Legendary Banana Edition. Comes with like a slipcover here and a book. We have, I think it's pronounced Chia, Oledi Edition. And then we have Gravity Circuit, which also looks really cool. The Switch game I'm playing right now still is Paper Mario. I probably talked about it in the last pickup video because I'm sure I showed the case for that game then. I am still playing it. I actually was playing it on the plane to and from the convention, and I beat Chapter 5, and then I continued on a little bit. I don't know exactly where I am, but I'm after Chapter 5, I know that. But the game is awesome. I'm planning on doing a review of it on the channel here, so if you want to see that coming up, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. Continuing on, let's go with GameCube. So, you guys know that I recently started collecting the Player's Choice subset, and quickly learned that instead of like 30 or 40, like I thought there was, there's actually like 130 Player's Choice games for the GameCube. A couple of them are player's choice only, and I already have those ones. I had those ones when I completed the set. So I'm kind of just collecting variants at this point because I have the Black Label one, so now I'm going after the player's choice version, which, same games, but for collecting purposes, it makes sense. Don't question it. So I do have two more for that set. We have Shark Tale and Medal of Honor Frontline. Nothing too special with those, but they are games I did not have the player's choice version of. The last one here, though, this case has actually been on my GameCube shelf for months. I don't know how long, but it was case only. So over time, I have gotten a manual for it, and then I got a disc for it, so now it is complete, and that is Mario Kart Double Dash. And you might be saying, you have the complete set, how come you were saying that if you didn't have the game for this? This is a variant. I did have the normal game. I have the bonus disc version as well, but this one is a pack-in game that says not for resale right on the back here. So this would come originally in the box I showed in the previous pickup video, where you've got the GameCube with an extra controller and Mario Kart Double Dash. So inside that box, I have the not for resale version. And again, you might be thinking, well, why do you need to have a second one? And because I want to, because it's fun to collect and I enjoy it. So I have the not for resale version by itself to go on the shelf with the rest of the games, and then I also have the not for resale version in the box with the console. So might sound dumb, but I love collecting. So next, PS2. I only have 2 games here. Someone traded in a small collection at the store this past week, maybe like 10 PS2 games or so. It wasn't a big collection, but they were all very similar games, and they were mostly Mobile Suit Gundam and Dynasty Warrior style games. So out of all of them, I had almost every single one, but I needed 2 of them. So for the collection, we are adding Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, Never Ending Tomorrow, and also Battle Assault 3 featuring Mobile Suit Gundam Seed. And I believe those are the last 2 Gundam games for the PS2 that we didn't already have. So nice little subset complete there, I suppose. All right, so I'm going to be saving Super Nintendo for last, of course, but I have a really good stack of PS1 and NES here. I'm actually going to go with NES first, and then we'll do PS1 and then Super Nintendo. So same with the Game Boy stuff. I do have some loose cartridges here that I already had boxes for, and that is Kid Icarus. I cannot believe that I didn't have that cartridge. Also, same with this one, can't believe it, but that is Metroid. To be fair, I did have the yellow label Metroid in the box, and I actually played that one not too long ago, but I didn't have the normal silver label one, so now that box is also complete. And then 2 others, just kind of filler titles, Star Voyager and Iron Tank. So now my boxes have the cartridges. And then moving on, this was just a condition upgrade, but it was a very nice one, and that is for Astyanax. It has the plastic on the box. You guys know I love getting them like that. And a very old KB Toys sticker on there that says it was marked down from $44.99 to $19.99, written in red ballpoint ink, which is kind of cool. My copy that I had previously, the box was crushed and stuff like that. It wasn't in the best condition, so this is a very nice condition upgrade. These are also in no particular order here, except for the very last one. We have a box only for Genghis Khan. Just added the cartridge to my wish list at the store, so I'm sure it'll come in at some point. We also have a box only for Deja Vu. We have this one. I only had this game factory sealed, and I took that to the store. It already sold, and I brought the box only home. So I still need a manual and a cartridge, but that is for Strider. I'm perfectly happy with complete open copies. I do not care about having them sealed. So when this one came in, and I checked, and I was like, oh, I have it, but only sealed. Took the sealed one to the store, and it sold immediately for either, I think it was $300, $299, and a complete copy of this opened is like less than $50. So I'm very happy that the store got the expensive version, and it sold right away, and I get the box only, and I get to track down a manual and a cartridge later. Next one, this is in really, really bad condition in terms of sun fading. It's actually really nice. Like, the box isn't crushed or anything, but it's badly sun damaged, and that is 3D World Runner. So I will, of course, need to upgrade the condition on this one at some point, but it is complete, so at least for now I have it. We also have a complete copy of the Moffat Conspiracy. And the last one, like I mentioned earlier, this was part of the trade that I did at the convention with Matt, and that is a complete copy of Kickmaster. And this game is pretty hard to find. This is one of those games where the loose cartridge is, like, the price difference between loose and complete is not as big as you might expect, because this is one of those games, it's kind of like a mid-tier game price point-wise. It's not one of the most expensive, but it's like 100-ish or somewhere around there. But complete copy, this was only $300. That's what he had priced at. So definitely one I have not seen complete in person before, although I haven't really been looking, but I'm very happy to get that one knocked off the list. I have been, obviously, I'm not just collecting Super Nintendo, I'm going for a lot of other stuff. I'm just happening to focus on Super Nintendo. However, we do have over 400 complete in box NES games. You can see them on the wall behind me here. So once I do start focusing on NES as my primary focus for collecting, we're not going to be too far off completing the set. A couple games probably never be able to get, can't afford them, can't find them, but we'll at least get pretty close, and we have a really good start with what we have so far. So moving on to PS1, the first 3 games here are Collector's Edition packs. These are 3 games in one box. They have a little like cardboard slipcover for them, and I bought these from Pink Gorilla. I saw that they had posted, they got a big PS1 collection in. I texted Cody and I was like, hey, if you're willing to ship them, how much are these 3? Gave me the price. I said yes, paid him, and he shipped them down. So shout out to Cody from Pink Gorilla for these. I did not have these ones, and that is the, I'm not sure what to call this one. I think it's called is it the EA Action Pack, I think? But it's got 007 Racing, 007 Tomorrow Never Dies, and Medal of Honor. So it's got all 3 games in here. The next one, I don't know how to pronounce this studio's name. I think it's Eidos, E-I-D-O-S. But this one has Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, Blood Omen, and Fighting Force. This one is actually really hard to find, so I'm glad that they were willing to ship. And then lastly, the Spyro Collector's Edition, which is probably one of the cooler ones in my opinion. There's a Crash and a Spyro one. I think I already have the Crash one. I'm counting them. I have 4, 8. I have 9 over there. So with these 3, I now have 12 different Collector's Edition packs like this for the PS1. I don't know how many there are total, but I've got to be getting close to having them all. And then the rest of the PS1 games here. Are these in any particular order? Not really. I'm not going to move them around, so here we go. We have Fox Hunt. This was just a condition upgrade. My copy had a creased up manual, and it had rental stickers on the discs. So we got a very nice clean copy, and I swapped them. Couple games here. There are a couple games in this stack that I'm very surprised I did not already have. And I've mentioned before that after Super Nintendo, I might be going for PS1, because we have most of the expensive and hard to find games already, but there are some more common titles that I was still missing. You'll see a couple of them here, but this one for sure, Metal Gear Solid. I don't know how I didn't have this game, I just didn't have it. So there we go. Also, Metal Gear Solid VR missions. This one's a little bit more understandable because it's not quite as common, but here's another one that I was surprised I didn't have. Resident Evil 2. This is the normal version, not the DualShock one. So I'm on the lookout for that as well, but since I'm not focusing on PS1 right now, I'm not dying to get it. I'll get it at some point. But some of these games, not those ones, but some of the ones I still have yet to show you here, they are a little bit more uncommon, harder to find. So those are the ones I'm trying to add to my collection now, so that when I am focusing on PS1, I'll have a little bit of an easier time not having to track down all of the hardest to find games. So we have Sentient. We have Point Blank. Awesome. We also have Tekken 3. Kind of a more common game. I feel like the reason that I don't have this one is because we usually get this one traded in as the greatest hits version. So Black Label one, definitely harder to find. This one I had never heard of. Roscoe McQueen Firefighter Extreme. Not an expensive game at all, just in my experience, pretty uncommon. We also have one. I wonder if you could you actually scan that barcode? Maybe not with all the stuff on it, but if you put this into Photoshop and made them solid lines, could you scan that? Here, somebody screenshot this, put it into Photoshop, make those lines all one solid color and see if it'll scan. I'm wondering if it's the barcode of the game or if it's something completely different or if it won't work at all. Who knows, but that would be very interesting to know. If you do that, please leave a comment down below. I'm very curious. Next up is Heart of Darkness. And yes, I was like, there was something about this. It's missing the 3D glasses, but it does have the little bottom portion that you would have ripped them off from. If anyone has the 3D glasses for Heart of Darkness, please let me know. We also have another one that I probably should have had, but that is Crash Bash. I believe this was actually the last Crash game that we didn't have. Actually, no. I think we need Crash 2 Cortex Strikes Back. This one has the hole drilled through the corner here, which is something that they would do back in the day when they were giving out copies for review or something like that. They're basically promo copies. They're worth less, if anything, not more. But that's how they would signify that they were being given out for review or something like that. So I'm going to have to upgrade the condition at some point on that artwork. We also have Formula 1. And the last one, never seen this game before. I'm not a big fan of the series. Bobby is, but I'm not. And that is Dynasty Warriors 1. Never seen it. I never even thought about it, I guess. I didn't know where the first game was. Obviously, I've seen all the PS2 ones, like a million of them. But this one looks like it's not even the same type of game. This looks like it's more like Mortal Kombat Street Fighter style. Very interesting. But that's it for PS1. Finally, we are ready to move on to Super Nintendo. So, as you guys know, this is the console that I have been focusing on, and I'm actually about to start a series. By the time this pickup video goes live, I might have already uploaded the first video in the series, but I'm going to be doing a series of trying to complete the Super Nintendo library. I'm getting very, very close, and the only time that I'm really going to be getting games for it is if something randomly gets traded into my store, or if I go to a convention. There really isn't another way that I'm getting games for my Super Nintendo collection right now. I'm trying really not to buy stuff online, so that means kind of no eBay. If Pinkarilla gets something traded in, I might get something like that, because Cody always lets me know. But other than that, it's kind of just going to be hunting in person at conventions, which I think is really fun. I prefer to get my games that way. So if you're into kind of game collecting quest video series here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and be on the lookout for that, because with the addition of these games, plus the ones that are currently coming in the mail from the convention and from a trade I did, I only have 78 left for the full North American library, complete in box, which is absolutely insane. If I can actually finish this set, it will be obviously the #1 like collecting accomplishment that I have made. This is a very, very difficult set to complete. If you take out games like Stadium Events and NWC, I think the Super Nintendo set is probably harder to complete than the NES library. And that's just because there are way more games that are over $100 for complete copies compared to NES. And some of them are like impossible to find. I'm lucky that I have one in here that is kind of on that list of like nearly impossible to find. We'll talk about that more when I get there, but I'm super happy with the progress we've made on Super Nintendo so far, and I'm looking forward to doing this video series and hopefully completing it and getting the last few games on camera in person at a convention. It would be so cool. So first up, just like Game Boy and NES, I do have some cartridges here that I needed to complete boxes we already have. First one is Bill Walsh College Football. We have Elite Soccer. We have Turtles in Time, which, weird that I didn't have this, but I was able to play it on the Turtles Cowabunga collection for Switch. We have Sterling Sharp End to End. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler here, but this cartridge is for a box that I have coming in the mail right now. I don't have the box here to show you. It's on its way, but this was the cartridge that I needed to complete it. That is, Kawasaki Caribbean Challenge. So on to the complete in box games. These are, every single one of these I got from the Southeast Game Exchange convention. So first one happens to also be the first game I found at the show. That is a complete, very, very nice copy, dare I say mint condition copy, of The Adventures of Dr. Franken. which a loose cartridge is not very expensive, not that hard to find, but for some reason, this boxed copy, I have never seen one in person until finding this one, and it just so happened to be mint and also the perfect price. They had it priced at $75. I offered $70, they accepted, and I think that might have been like the price I put in my spreadsheet to pay was like $70. And those prices that I put in there typically are the max that I want to pay, which means it needs to be in pretty good shape. This one being mint made it like the perfect purchase. I'm super happy I found this one, and nice one to get knocked off the list. Next up, they're all kind of expensive here. I had the cheaper ones shipped back, and I carried the more expensive ones with me. So we have Run Saber. This is a game that I thought I had for the longest time, but it was always on my list of games I needed. It was just, whenever I heard the name, I was like, oh, Run Saber, I got that one. And I think it's because I had it in my previous collection. I collected from like 2008 to 2014, and then sold everything and started over. And I'm pretty sure I had this game in my collection the first time around, so it kind of always like stuck in my head. But I didn't have it, and I got it from the convention. Very good price as well. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember I got that with two of these other games here. My spreadsheet prices, like the max I would pay, came to like $1,800 and something. The guy's original price tags came to $1,550, and then because I bought 3 games, he was like, I'll do $1,390. So it was a no-brainer. I had to pick them up. That was more than I wanted to spend at the entire convention, but I couldn't pass up that deal. So this next one is the one that I was talking about where it's like nearly impossible to find, and I almost kind of regret purchasing it because I think that I overpaid by quite a bit. And that is SOS Sink or Swim. So if you collect Super Nintendo, you'll probably know this game is very, very hard to find. I've actually never even seen a loose cartridge copy of this in all my years of collecting, buying and selling, owning my game store. Never seen a copy in person, as long as I've been looking or paying attention, right? This box is not in the best condition. It does have at least some creasing on like every side. It is complete, and the insides are very nice, but it was $350. And the max that it has ever sold for was $300. So I paid $50 more to get it in not the best condition. Kind of regret that a little bit, but it is so incredibly hard to find, and if I didn't pick this one up at this convention, I imagine it would be one of the last 5 to 10 games I needed for the set. So I am at least glad that I knocked it off the list because it is so hard to find. I just wish that it was a little bit cheaper. So the last two were part of the bundle that I got for $1,390. So it was Run Saber and these two. And the first one is Wildcats. This game is also pretty hard to find. Once again, not in the best condition, but definitely not bad. Does have some like creasing and stuff on the top here, but you know, other than that, not too bad. Can't really complain. Most Super Nintendo boxes are not in mint condition, so what are you gonna do? But the last one, this was one of the biggest games I still needed, and I had to pass on a couple bigger ones at the show because I just could not spend that kind of money. But this is the biggest one that I ended up getting, and by biggest I mean like hardest to find, most expensive, most rare, stuff like that. It was the only copy in the box. Well, no, I saw 2 copies actually at the convention, but the other one was way more expensive, and it was really badly sun faded on the front. So super happy to get this pretty nice condition copy. Like, it's not crushed at all. There's really no creasing on it. It's just got some general wear on the corners and edges, little spots of sticker residue, stuff like that. The manual is really, really bad. It's like completely crumpled and everything. So I will need to replace that at some point, but I'm still very happy to now have a complete copy in my collection once again, because I did have it in my previous collection, of Wild Guns. Very hard to find game, very expensive, like I said, in pretty good condition as well. So there we go. So I got Wild Guns, Wildcats, and Run Saber for $13.90, and this game alone can almost sell for that amount. So I was very happy with that. I obviously couldn't turn it down. Like I said, more than I wanted to spend at the entire convention, and I spent it on just, 3 games. But what are you gonna do when you're trying to collect and you're trying to buy almost everything in person? sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, and when the good deal pops up, you have to do it, and that's what happened here. So that is it for this one, guys. That's all I had to show you. For keyword this time, we're going to use the word gear, G-E-A-R. So put gear in your comment down below. That'll tell me you watched the entire video and you didn't skip forward because you are not a Nimrod. We'll use that word. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this collection update, and I will see you guys in the next one.